Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be having a look at the bot Re-AIO. Now this is probably one of the cheapest bots on the sneaker market right now at $150, and this could be a perfect bot for someone looking to buy just a cheap bot in general. The bot retails for $300, but actually right now it is below retail. Literally, this is how crazy the bot market is right now, and it's going for about $150. So $300, it's gone down to $150. And yeah, the renewal, I think it's $150 every 6 months. So this is insane to see something like this. And this is due to kind of what I'm going to call the great sneaker bot recession. Pretty much every bot has gone down in price massively. And I'm just trying to do a few videos on super cheap bots like this. $150, that is insane. That's so cheap. Of bots that just anyone, a beginner, someone who just wanted to pick up a good bot could be a good investment. I have absolutely no idea. And just show them around it what it's like to use, because this is actually quite an interesting bot. Now, if you've been in the shoe scene for a while and beta bots, etc., you would know maybe 5 months ago, 4 months ago, maybe longer than that, maybe more like 8 months ago, Re-AIO was killing Supreme and foot sites. I had this bot in beta actually. It was very sick. I got it on a group by Notify Squared, I think. I'm not too sure. And yeah, it absolutely smashed it. It was sick. But now it's had a whole UI redesign, and actually I really like it. So let's get into it. As you can see, I have a monthly key. Shout out to the boys at Re-AIO for hooking me up with that. Love to see it. And then we had this upcoming calendar here with, you can see if I move along, my webcam's kind of covering it, but it does show you the upcoming drops, and it's linked into StockX. Which is quite cool, and if I click it, it does actually take you to StockX. Another cool thing is it shows you how many checkouts the bot has, which is 16,000, and the money spent 0. Obviously, I haven't used this bot too much because it's actually a little bit broken, and we'll get into that in a second. And let's head over to the tasks up here. As you can see, it's pretty snappy, no lag. You might get that in a bot this cheap because you're going to be thinking in your head, what's making it that cheap? So, you know, the UI on this is brilliant, but you'll see what I mean, because they have had lots of issues at the moment. Now, you'll see, create task. If you click this, you actually get an error, and it makes a little sound that you might be able to hear. And yeah, so it actually says create task first, but it actually means create task group. So if we head over to the left-hand side of the screen over here, it says regular or restock, which is a little bit weird. But essentially, you actually choose whether you want to run a restock mode or a regular mode now, which I don't necessarily get. I thought it would just create a task group first, but it is what it is. You know, $150 bot, £100 bot, probably. Like, it's so cheap. Who even cares? So you go to create that, and this is when you can put the name. So let's say Nike, and this is when you can do a Nike. So the difference between Nike and sneakers is pretty big, because one can be Nike backend, Nike app, and then the others is sneakers. So they're kind of two different things. But it also supports Foot Sites, Foot Locker EU beta, Walmart US and Walmart Canada, Supreme and Off-White. So like I said, this thing used to eat Supreme back in the day, and it probably does alright, but Supreme resale just isn't there. But yeah, this is a pretty dodgy site list in my opinion, because it doesn't look like they've actually kind of chosen a region to focus on. And it's a little bit like Prism. Prism have a sick Offspring module and a sick Foot Locker EU module. However, they're mainly a US bot, and I kind of get the vibes from this bot here, because they're supporting sites like Walmart and Foot Sites, but at the same time, they've got Foot Locker EU and Off-White, and I'm going to class Off-White as mainly an EU site. So I'm a little bit confused what's happening there, and it looks like they haven't actually made up their mind of which region they want to focus on, and this can definitely cause for a bot value to go down in price. Obviously not Prism's, because Prism's Foot Locker and US modules completely outweigh its EU ones, but it's a shame because, you know, maybe some modules won't get run as much as they should do in here, which does lower the price of the bot and make people think it is a bit shit. So definitely something to consider. So yeah, so let's say this is a regular task group for Nike, and then from here you can go ahead and create your tasks, and you can see there are a million things in here. You have all the countries, product IDs, then you can select the size, profiles, the modes. However, you can go through all the stuff here. However, this whole Nike module hasn't even been working due to issues they have been having with Akamai, which is like a bot protection thing, and they just haven't been able to get through it. So I think they like paused renewals or something because it essentially was unfunctional. But if we go ahead and delete that task group, you can actually see there was some a little bit of dodgy formatting there. If I go to delete that, you can see how they're not centered, and pretty much on everything else I want to say they are. Small things. See, I noticed these details. I noticed them. But yeah, let's delete that, and then you would just create a restock, which is quite cool because these are monitor tasks. The only other time I've seen monitor tasks like this are in Dragon, and obviously I don't have it, but I've seen it in Dragon, which I think is pretty cool. So you can have these monitor tasks which when it picks up the item, it will actually start tasks. Very, very cool. And to see it on a £100 bot is cool, but it doesn't even work, so whatever. But maybe one day, maybe one day. Are you brave enough to invest in something that did work at one point? Who knows? Who knows? Obviously, if you guys have any opinions or know anything about REAIO, what is going on, drop them in the comments. I don't always know what's going on. I'm pretty washed myself, so do leave a comment below, because it's always nice to know what's going on from your guys' perspective. So yeah, I do really like this GUI though. In the bottom left, by the way, you can't see it because my beautiful face is there. We have a Captcha harvester, which is probably the most complicated Captcha harvester I've ever seen in my life. We can go ahead and shut that. And they also have a cookie generator. I haven't seen one of these in a bot in years. I mean, do people even use these anymore? I don't think people should have to generate their own cookies anymore. That should be handled bot server side, whatever. They have these kind of percentage things here, and this reminds me a little bit of Kodai. If you know what I mean, if you've used Kodai before, you'll know they've used stuff like this. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, and I like how they've got it definitely in their own way. I think this is, I mean, it's probably one of the nicest bot GUIs. Honestly, I personally think this does look nicer than like Cyber GUI, for example, because it's just got a little bit more to it. It's got a little bit more design. I'm a big fan of this GUI. So is it worth spending 100 quid, 120 quid on a GUI? So profiles, again, you have profile groups here, but you can't create a profile. You need to create a profile group. I do think that's a little bit stupid, but whatever. So let's say these were your UK profiles. You can then go ahead and create them. And again, lovely bit of GUI, but you have to fill it out before you can go to the different bits. But it's not perfect. And, you know, with bots this cheap, it's never going to be too perfect. But I'm a big fan of it, so you can go ahead and fill this out. So let's go. I call this George Jefferson. Let's say my email address was 1@1.com, and then I had a phone number of 999. Move that along, and there you go. It starts to fill in some things in for you. Quite cool, very simple. And you've also got a few small things here, like jig profile, where you can jig name, address. But I mean, why would you do this? Because you've got AYCD. If you don't have AYCD, use code Ginger. It's nice to see it involved, and especially maybe with a bot this cheap, it could be good for a lot of beginners who don't have AYCD, but you really don't want to be setting up your profiles in this bot. Moving on to proxies, it's very simple again. As always, you can't actually add proxies. You need to create your own proxy list. So this is, let's say you're adding your ISPs. If you guys need any proxies, links in the description. You can then go add proxies and add them all there. And then last of all is accounts, and this has my classic account error problem that I have with loads of bots. If you're gonna offer the ability to use accounts, and as you can see here, here's what you need accounts for. First of all, there's a million types of Nike accounts here. You have Nike, you have then Nike gift card, and then Nike promote. Surely there's a better way to do that. I'm not too sure. But then Amazon, Walmart, and Off-White, at least for Off-White, have a way to generate account. That's just my opinion, right? So as you can see, you can't actually add an account because you need to create them. So let's say you're going to create an Off-White, and we're going to call it Off-White accounts. There you go. You can't actually generate them. You need to generate them in something else. I'm a strong believer. I'm a big believer in, if you're going to offer accounts, have an inbot generator in there with it. Just makes it better for everyone, because then your users all have accounts. They don't need to buy them. They don't need to use any other software. You know, make it Re-AIO. Make that AIO stand out all in one. That's what we want it to be. And then last of all, we have settings. So I have my webhook in there that will be blurred out, because obviously we need to flex the webhook that I have the bot. And I am on the latest version, and this was last updated. I do think that is wrong. I'm going to be honest, because, yeah, I think that is a little bit wrong, but do correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a really out-of-date bot. And they've been constantly updating in the dev channel about that Akamai issues with Nike, and that transparency I do like. You don't get that in many other bots. But yeah, this is where you can see all your delays for different sites, which is nice. I think this is quite a good way to lay it out. And they do have Yeezy supply here, and I don't think I actually saw that here. No. So maybe Yeezy supply is coming soon. Leak, you heard it here first, mate. Honestly, brilliant channel, some brilliant content. So yeah, they've also got JD Finish Line. That comes under foot sites though. Very, 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 very interesting. Now, who's buying this bot? Like I said, it's going to either be beginners or people as an investment. I don't think too many pro people are going to be buying this bot, or many people in the middle, because it is a risk, because it's a bot that you don't necessarily know will work too well, and it is still a little bit of money, especially with the renewal. Now, a lot of groups can get group buys with Re-AIO, which is cool. It's a very accessible bot, but I don't hear too much about it. So, What do you think will happen with Re-AIO in the rest of 2021? Will it come back and take that top spot that it used to be at? Or is it just going to stay a brick bot and people will forget about it? My game driver needs to update apparently, but thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in another video.